Paul! President Paul! President Paul! President Paul! Somebody down there chanting it. Oh, they need to hurry up.
I'll tell you what, I don't want his shirt off for what's going on away. It's hot in here.
Well, there you go.
I think it would really help if I actually looked at my camera while I was recording.
Before we do that, though, there is a couple of things I did want to go over for
I'm going to go get on the side. You get a picture of it.
Which is that we want to make sure that every last one of you does everything we can to elect Dr. Paul on Election Day this coming Tuesday. Yeah! So I want to make sure that we're all clear on the process and the procedure here because there is a lot of confusion going on out there. Number one, as you may know, Michigan is a primary state. So while you hear a lot about the media and delegates and you hear a lot about that we're chasing the delegates, and that certainly is the case, you should know that in Michigan, the delegates are bound, at least in the first round, for the winner of the primary in the district. So we need to win this primary, guys, and we need all your help doing that. Number two, you may have heard that this is a closed primary. That is certainly what was announced when the primary was set, but that is in fact not the case. The definition of a closed versus open primary concerns prior partisan voter registration. And in Michigan, we have an open primary where if you are registered to vote in Michigan on the day of the primary, you can vote in the primary. That is at your normal polling place, and that's from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Tuesday. So you need to make sure that every Ron Paul supporter you know shows up and votes successfully on Election Day.
Woo!
Doing that. I'm going to go through this real briefly, but there's a very simple procedure. Step one, make a complete list of everybody in Michigan you know. That does not mean people you've spoken with in the last month. That means everybody you have ever known. People you went to high school with, people you worked with, people you're in the service with. Step two, we'll talk more about that in a moment. Step two, call them on the phone. And each time you call them, you say something like this. Hey Joe, it's Adam, remember? Right. Well, I have an important question for you. The primary's coming up this Tuesday. I want to make sure you plan to vote for Dr. Paul, the true conservative in the race here, and you're not going to vote for a counterfeit conservative like Mitt Romney or Rick Santorum or anything like that. Anyway, there's an important thing on the political sensibility of the person you're talking to. You might change that around a little bit here and there. But the basic idea is to find out whether or not they are a Ron Paul supporter, whether they're not a Ron Paul supporter, or whether or not they're undecided. And if they're undecided, step two is the next step then is to find out what you can tell them on their terms to persuade them that Ron Paul is their candidate. And that means listening to them. You know, we all know why we support Ron Paul, the Constitution, the Federal Reserve, but every voter has their own set of priorities, and you want to reach them on their own terms. And if you convince them that they should vote for Ron Paul on Election Day, then your job is to make sure that they know how to vote. And I know I see a lot of young people here, a lot of tech-savvy people. You can do this in front of your computer. You go to michigan.gov/vote. You can look it up and tell them where their polling place is right then and there. And you can make sure that they get to the polls on Election Day. And that's what it's all about, guys, is turn out, turn out, turn out. And on Election Day, when you've gone through your list, you've completed the calls to everybody, then you go out into the streets and you talk to people. Do not simply wave signs. Talk to people. Find busy places where there are a lot of people walking around. This might not necessarily be your actual polling place. And talk to as many people as you can. Get some friends together and sign up as many people to vote for Dr. Paul on Election Day as you possibly can. And you can do that. You go to ronpaul2012.com/MI. That is our main campaign page. You sign those little form that says sign up. You fill out that little form. You'll be taken to a place where you can log in and you can find the name and contact info for other Ron Paul supporters in your area. and you get together with them, and you guys are going to turn out to vote for Ron Paul on Election Day and blow everybody's mind when Ron Paul wins districts, maybe even the entire state of Michigan. So thank you very much. I'm very honored that I had the opportunity to have some say in the events that Dr. Paul will be doing in Michigan. And I'm glad that they're going out to such a wonderful campus tonight. And I'm also glad to announce that we've designed, yes, go ahead, absolutely, please. And we designed each event in such a way that each one touches upon some major element, some major component of this race for the presidency that shows to the voters of Michigan with total clarity that Ron Paul is truly the presidential candidate who is going to rally the support of the American people, shatter Barack Obama's base, and win back our country on Election Day in 2012. And tonight we have a rally for soldiers, airmen, and sailors for Dr. Paul. And to tell you more about that, I'm trying to introduce my good friend Tony DeMott and soldiers, sailors, and airmen for Ron Paul.
Of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Yeah! When I said those words, with my right hand raised, 18 years old, I had no idea. No idea what path this would lead me down, and in what manner that oath would be tested. I had no idea that at the forefront of my mind would be the Federal Reserve, indefinite detention, and all kinds of other abuses against our Constitution. But here I am today, and here you are.
Yeah. Woo!
Today, more military members support Dr. Paul than any other candidate. Dr. Paul raises more money from the military than all the Republican candidates combined. He raises more money than our current commander-in-chief.
Go figure.
Whereas President Obama's chief donors are Goldman Sachs and the big banks.
Sell out.
Dr. Paul's primary donors or biggest donors come from the Navy, the Air Force, the Army. The Marine Corps also. So I bring to you today a group of people that I am very proud to be standing up here on this stage with. We cover every conflict in the past 100 years. World War II. The Korean War. The Vietnam War. The Gulf War. And the Afghan and Iraqi War.
I cannot clap and hold this. Woo! Thank you!
So I present to you today soldiers, airmen, and sailors for Ron Paul. You can clap again. Thank you.
Yes, thank you!
I have a special treat for you. One of our gentlemen here is going to come up and say a few words. 8-year infantryman, father of four, Rich Dudak.